How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. You're frozen. You're
Ah,
frozen. You're coming back. There we go. Wait, hold on.
I
Okay,
don't
there we
know
go.
what happened. All right. I better
How you
move
doing?
back a little here. My head's cut off.
Busy day?
It's a crazy day. Yeah, and right about this time, I had to run and quick get my plug in because right around this time, even though everything is charged up fully, everything dies. Like right at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, you're right, actually, though. At 4 o'clock, that's when, if you use your phone all day, 4 o'clock is the day time that your phone dies.
That
If it's
is the
if it's
time.
kind of an older phone. So,
It
but
is.
yeah. Okay, so let's get at it. Lots to talk about, lots going on. I feel like it's Groundhog's Day with us. I look forward to the day when we have a 30-minute conversation and we don't talk about COVID vaccines or anything like that. And hopefully that'll come soon. So
It's coming someday.
yes, it will by the end of the year, hopefully.
Yes.
So let's talk about, Doug Ford mentioning that tomorrow at, I believe, 1 o'clock, he is going to announce, possibly further restrictions.
Yeah.
What do you think Burlington and Halton will go back into gray zone or a modified red or whatever we call it?
Well, I think we have to be prepared for that. So the warning signs are there. We're certainly hearing through back channels some rumors. We won't know for sure, obviously, until tomorrow. But when you look at hospital capacity, and that's what pulled us into lockdown before, even though Halton's numbers continue to be much different than the rest of the GTHA, and Burlington in particular has some of the lowest per capita infection rates anywhere, but we are in the region where hospital capacity is at peak. And so that's a huge issue. And of course, with the new variants, that's also a huge issue. So we are planning for and anticipating that there will probably be some additional restrictions on Halton and area.
Okay. You said you've heard rumblings. What rumblings have you heard?
Well, from folks that we talk to, so I'm not going to name names, but
Okay.
we, yeah, we have back channels. We have
Okay.
people that we stay in touch with to see what might be coming our way, and just so we can prepare and plan like everybody. But really, until nobody knows until the announcement is made. But I do think we should all prepare ourselves for the very real possibility that there will be some additional restrictions announced tomorrow that will
Okay.
affect Halton and other areas as well. So,
What do you think of the economy opening back up? Do you think that it was too soon, in Halton?
well, we've had the conversation before around what the source of community spread is. And we know from experience that when bars are closed, when restaurants are closed, some take the party inside, and that's the most dangerous of all. So we really and truly need people not to do that. And, our medical officer of health has just moments ago released new guidance for Easter weekend, basically saying to folks, if you're going to a religious, faith-based event, please do so virtually. Please only gather with members of your own immediate household. That excludes family living across town. It is so important for us not to give in to wanting to socialize in private homes. And we know that that's a source of spread, and that's been really hard to track. I know that our businesses are some of the most heavily regulated, most responsible operators, and they are doing everything they can to keep their employees and customers safe. And when you have this behavior coming in on the side of people gathering privately and spreading the virus that way, it will lead to this kind of shutdown that we're going to see. So we
Sure.
really need people to continue to follow all the health guidance and also follow that advice not to gather with folks outside your household, especially as we head into this long weekend.
This weekend being Easter weekend, and you're saying these guidelines, are we going to see more enforcement this weekend?
Well, we'll do the enforcement we've always done, which is, they're out regularly. I mean, I haven't heard of any special patrols that the province has in mind for, they've done the periodic targeted sort of blitz patrols. We're aware of where some of the hotspots might be and also respond to any complaints to our COVID hotline. So if people see something, say something, our folks will be out there for sure.
Okay. How are the hospitalizations in Burlington doing?
Well, we're getting close, like all hospitals around us. And Halton wide, the most recent figures we had is that about 70% of our hospital capacity is from folks from other regions.
Okay.
So, you know, and we're happy, obviously, to do our part and to take people when they need care. Absolutely, we'll provide that. At the same time, part of Halton's situation is a geographic reality that we're next to hotspots, and so this is what's going to happen and overwhelm our own hospital. So we need to make sure that we can, you know, our own CEO recently said, advocated for lockdowns and, you know, raised the alarm bell about Burlington's capacity at Joe Brandt. Because we don't want to start canceling or having to reschedule elective surgeries. We don't want another type of health pandemic to come in on the side of this one. So, you know, we're right on the edge, and GTHA wide, that's the concern that has been raised it's been growing for days now around hospital capacity GTHA wide, and I think that's what has led to the announcement that we're going to hear tomorrow.
Let's talk about vaccines. Vaccines. You know, I was reading that Japan's behind us in vaccinations, right? And so you know, I think all of the entire continent of Africa has less vaccinations than Canada. So I mean, we are behind, but we're not doing that bad. But anyways, so let's talk about
more vaccines.
Yeah,
We
100%.
need more vaccines, and honestly, I get messages regularly from residents about, you know, when is it going to be my turn? And, you know, even though they're in phase 2 as an essential worker, they still haven't gotten the ability to sign up and book an appointment. They're asking when phase 2 is really going to begin, which is expected in April, which starts, of course, tomorrow.
Yeah.
And our response is this, that we need vaccines. We're ready. Our clinics are ready. They're open. We have additional sites that we can open if those are necessary. We have staff available, and all we need is the vaccines. And so the answer to the question of when can the next set of groups get their vaccine, it's when the federal government gives us the vaccine and when the province delivers it to our region, because they determine the distribution region-wide, and they've been sending it obviously to some of the hotspots to try and tamp those down, which makes sense from a health standpoint. But we're waiting, right? We're doing our part, and we don't have any leftover vaccines. We're getting them into the arms as fast as we get them, and we'll continue to do that.
So Halton is 65 plus now, and you guys are ahead of the curve in regards to I think you and York Region are, right?
Yep.
What are you guys doing right that other municipalities are not?
You know what? I think everyone's trying their best.
Okay.
Everyone is trying their best, and I'm just delighted that we can start to come down quicker and quicker. And one of the questions that was asked at our regional council meeting last week of our medical officer of health was that very issue: is when are essential workers going to be vaccinated? And her response was, you know what? We're continuing to shave a couple of years off the vaccination eligibility, you know, very quickly, and your age will probably catch up to you before your occupation. So it's really good news to see that it's 65, and we hope to continue to be able to, you know, knock another 5 years off that every week or two.
So vaccination appointments, are you guys having any issues filling? Are they 100% capacity? Like, are they filled?
They're booked, yes.
Yep.
They're booked. And however, having said that, if there's any reason why somebody can't attend their appointment, and it's rare, but obviously from time to time it does happen, the region has a special box when you go to sign up for your vaccination, where you can check that if you want to be called for a last minute opening up of an appointment, check the box and they will call you. So we have no unused at the end of the day. We have no vaccines going to waste. And people, it doesn't happen a lot, as I've said, but it only is available, those kind of last minute signups are only available to folks who are already eligible by virtue of age or occupation. But you can elect, let's say your appointment was for next week and then there's a no-show today, they'll call you, and if you can make it down, you get it a little sooner. So that's good news. And so we have no wastage, we have no unused, and we are operating at 100% capacity, and it's going really well. I get mail every day from happy campers at both our clinics. Got another one today from somebody saying the process was seamless and efficient, and they were in and out and done, and people were great. So good to hear.
So I guess, does Halton Public Health meet with Peel Public Health and Toronto Public Health to figure out kind of the best, logistical coordination for a vaccine rollout, or is it more kind of in silos?
Well, we've talked about how the vaccination rollout works and who does what. So federal government is responsible for getting us the vaccine. The province is responsible for setting the framework of who gets it and then distributing to various regions how much goes to each region. The regional medical officer of health in our Halton region are the ones responsible for actually setting up the clinics and getting the needles in arms. And the city's role has been, if needed, using community facilities. That hasn't had to happen yet in the city of Burlington, and transportation is being provided by the region of Halton. So right now the city's role is really to help be a good source of information for the community and let them know how they can get it. So I know all of those, I know that everybody talks to each other because everyone's involved in some way in a successful vaccine rollout.
Okay. Let's talk about AstraZeneca, the PR nightmare that they are having in regards to everything, in regards to data, details, stuff like that. Do you think this, will lead to a lot of vaccine hesitancy?
I certainly have heard from the community questions about what we are administering here in Halton and whether AstraZeneca is being used. We have not been sent any shipments of AstraZeneca. All of what we have received here in Halton is Pfizer. That's what you're going to get when you go to one of our clinics.
Okay.
So the AstraZeneca has really been sent more to the pilot project pharmacy distribution, which is in other regions, not ours. But this issue has been raised. And I know the news you just mentioned is fairly recent, but the bottom line is the best vaccine for you to take is the one that you're being offered.
Sure.
Get vaccinated. If you have a chance, just get vaccinated.
Yeah, 100%. And new news coming out of the States that the Pfizer vaccine is good for 12-year-olds and older. What are your thoughts on that?
If that's what the medical community is saying, then I think we should trust them on that.
Okay.
Yeah. And Health Canada, obviously, for our part here in Canada, they vet all the vaccines, right?
Yeah.
So we don't just take a manufacturer's word for it or take another agency that is not in our country's word for it. We do our own homework. And so Health Canada has cleared all of the vaccinations that are being used anywhere in the country for use, but they're always looking at it. And Health Canada, I know there's also been questions raised about the extended time from the 21 days to 16 weeks. And I know that a number of our residents have raised concerns about that extended time. Health Canada has reviewed that and given the green light. So that could change if there's additional research, if there's new medical information that would change that. There is a minimum time frame between vaccinations according to Health Canada, but there is no maximum. So that's what we know right now from the scientific community and from Health Canada.
So I'm as a mayor, I'm sure you must hear it from all sides. I mean, what would you say to an anti-vaxxer that would say, I'm not taking this, there's no way I'm taking this vaccine? I'm sure you must hear that. What would you say to them?
I do hear it, and people have that choice, as they have had, they've always had the right to refuse a vaccination, and it comes with consequences.
Yeah.
So if you refuse a vaccination, you could get sick. If you refuse it, you could make your loved one sick. And so it's really important for people to be aware that their choices don't just affect them, they affect everyone around them, including their loved ones. and
Okay.
to make a decision about their own health, to also consider the health of their loved ones, their family, their friends, and the people around them.
Okay. Good answer. um, so let's talk about schools. There are rumors that the April-March break will be. There's a chance it might get extended, right? What are
Mm-hmm.
your thoughts on that?
I've heard those too, and we may know more tomorrow. I know that full-time working parents who have kids at home are waiting with their, biting their fingernails about this because it is really tough on the kids who not everyone thrives in a online learning experience, and for parents to have to juggle being a teacher, being a full-time worker at whatever their job happens to be is really, really tough. And so we would need to see obviously the science, the health evidence that would warrant this.
True. Okay. Let's talk patios. So I think I heard 43 patio applications. Is that the
Yeah.
most? Is that the most ever?
I'm pretty sure that's the most ever, because the patio program actually started in downtown Burlington when I was a counselor because they needed to use city space, parking, either on-street parking or sidewalks. And so we had set up this whole we call it a pilot patio program. And there were restrictions on where they could go, and there really wasn't interest from restaurants in other parts of the city to expand into parking spaces, which would have been private anyway. They would have expanded into their landlords, in a plaza or what have you. But the pandemic, of course, changed all that. So the vast majority of applications that we currently have are outside the downtown. They're all over the city. And it
Nice.
is mostly on those plazas and malls that are privately owned. And so they need to get two permissions. They need to talk to the city about, obviously getting a permit for the patio and making sure that it's safe and it's located in the right place. But they also need to get permission from the landowner to take up, usually what it is taking up parking spaces. But what a great use of, surface parking in a
Sure.
suburban area, especially when people are not going out as much as they used to, and those spaces aren't being used anyway. So that's been great to see. And of over half of them have already been approved, and probably another, the vast majority are well on their way to approval. So I really hope this is a sign of things to come, that after the pandemic, businesses will continue to offer that outside space. And I'd love to see some of those vast, asphalt acres of parking used for a better use to, for people's enjoyment and entertainment.
So would you say per capita, Burlington is patio city, Canada?
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
let's go with that. And if we're once we're out of lockdown, I am going to tour every single one of them and let you know about it. It may take me some time to do it, all 43, but I'm going to visit. I'm going to drop in on every single one of them.
That's awesome.
May take me all summer, but hey, I'm not going anywhere. So
Yeah, sure.
it'll be like the tourist in my own town thing.
Let's talk about Beachway Park Public Forum.
Mm-hmm.
You do a lot of public forums, which is great. What do you hope to accomplish from this public forum?
A couple of things. We want to hear about the overall beach experience that people have. We know the beach is very popular. It's a sand beach in an urban setting. It is unheard of anywhere else that I'm aware of in Ontario. It's spectacular, right on the edge of our downtown, to have this sand beach. And it was well used by people in Burlington and all over the GTHA, really, because last summer, if you recall, a lot of municipalities were actually closing their beaches right down. We did not do that. So it was very busy. And so that success and love of our beach created some challenges. So there's a lot of things going on down there. So we're talking about moving hydro wires. There's a $50 million regional beach master plan we'll give an update on. There's Park Ambassador program that we approved last week to provide people on the street to make sure people have a good experience, to watch for any issues before they arise. And then the final piece of that is, what do we do about parking? Because it becomes a little bit of a gong show down there when it's so busy. People parking on, right near the road, on the shoulder, people parking on a gas line. Not the safest thing, really not at all the safest thing. And last summer we had a COVID fine that if you were parked where you shouldn't have been, it was a $240 fine. So, that's an expensive day at the beach. And we'd rather help people enjoy the beach proactively and let them know what to expect than have to fine them for making the wrong choice at the end of the day. So one of the things that we're considering down at the beach is paid parking. Not 24/7. It would be, weekends, peak periods, certain periods of time, to better manage parking and also to avoid the parking being used for, workers in the area that don't want to pay for their own on-site parking coming to the beach because it's free right now. So that's one of the things that I want to hear from the community tomorrow night, is their thoughts on that. Should there be a Burlington voucher so residents who already pay for this park through their taxes don't have to pay, but our visitors do? There is some precedent for that in other areas like Barrie, where it's quite a difference. It's about $50 if you're not a resident, and I think it's 10 or 15 if you are. So those are some of the things that we can explore, and the committee will be looking at a report from staff next week with some proposals, and really wanting to hear from the public on that. But that's just one piece of the whole beach experience.
So you bring up an interesting point in regards to people out of town coming to park. How would they know if they're out of town? Like, I guess, would there be somebody manning the parking and asking?
So the way we do our parking now in Burlington, and we would use the same type of machines, is that you enter your license plate. So there would be a way, I think, for Burlington residents to register their license plate. I'm a Burlington resident, here's my address, and get their license plate cleared before they head down. And so that we know when the parking person is coming around and checking to see if you've paid for parking, it's done by license plate. And so they would check, and it's the same way we manage our overnight parking here in Burlington. So you can get a permit, if you're paving your driveway, for example. We don't typically allow overnight parking, but if there are needs, you've got a moving van, or you've got one of those little pop-up, sheds that you're going to fill up, and then, or you're doing some renovations or whatever, you need temporary for a couple of days parking overnight on the street. You can go online right now, enter your address, enter your license plate, get a permit, and when the parking patrol comes around, they just look up they've got handhelds, they look up your license plate, they go, yep, they've got a permit for these reasons, no ticket. So we can use existing technology that we have in the city already to manage this, if that's the path we want to go down.
Okay. Those are all the questions that I have. Is there anything that you'd like to talk about or bring up, or?
Well, we've covered the usual gamut there.
Yeah, we always do.
Yes. You always put me on the spot here, and my brain is increasingly fried as the day goes on.
I do have a favor. I do have a favor.
Yes.
A favor?
Okay.
It's my grandmother. It's my Lola's 101 birthday this Sunday. And I'm just gathering, I'm doing a video, I'm gathering, happy birthdays from everybody I do interviews with.
Right.
So, and who else? Quite a few others. So I just wanted, if you don't mind, just giving her name is Lola, right? And she's turning 101, and she's at a home, and we're creating a video for her. If you can say happy birthday.
Awesome. I absolutely will. Okay, go.
Go ahead.
Hello, Lola. I'm Burlington Mayor Marianne Meed Ward, and I want to wish you an amazing 101th birthday. I don't know what your secret to your success is, but I really would like to know, because I'm a long way from that, but you're my 101-year-old goal, so I hope you have a great day. Awesome.
Thank you so much. So her secret sauce is sense of humor.
Awesome.
It's so funny. She's like, I asked her, I'm like, I go, Lola, is everything okay? And she's like, I don't know. Ask the doctor. How would I know? You know, I'm like, good answer.
Oh,
So,
that's
anyway,
awesome.
so, but
That's
yeah, thanks so much for
awesome.
doing that. So I will clip
All
it.
right.
Yeah, and I think look at that. We're 4 minutes early. So thank you so
That's
much.
awesome. Okay, well, great to talk to you, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, perfect. Thanks, Marianne.
Bye bye.
Bye.